3 straight weeks of bleeding. And then in 24 hours, a sign. As I always say, the number doesn't matter. What does matter is the direction the market is heading. And right now, money is leaving certain assets and flooding into new opportunities. If you miss that pattern, you'll be buying someone else's exit plan.
And now for our Counter-Strike report. New York's very own Mike Water.
Welcome back to DE News. I'm your host, Mike Water 9. In what seems like a while, we have some positive news regarding the market cap. On the week as a whole, we are still down from 5.61 billion to 5.47. However, that 5.47 is a retracement from 5.36, which we saw as the low yesterday. So a pretty sharp bounce back, as you can see reflected in the graph. And it can mean good things and a lot of opportunities over the next 7 days, especially since a lot of us are snowed in right now. Now, as I always say, the market cap is just an estimation. However, the direction of the line does matter. Trading sideways and regressing back to the mean is completely fine. Good enough or just plain good, considering a lot of market movement and a lot of profit is made by finding the right items that have a lot of concentrated efforts to raise the price. Because what matters more than the aggregate and the big red number on top of the screen is where that money is moving. And it's moving from one valve mechanism to the next. Now, a quick disclaimer. A lot of you saw my video last night and decided to buy some of the late night transit. While I do appreciate your trust in me, it is very flattering you are shooting yourself in the foot with FOMO. There were sales on CS Float last night for $20 on a UMP skin that was going for $6 and $5 respectively on Steam and UU, just to name a few. Do I think they'll reach 20 eventually? I do, which is why I'm holding them for the long term. But by starting your position at 20, your profit is not going to be very large. And for a long time, it's going to be in the red. So let me be clear. Do not be a fucking moron. Do your due diligence. Go on more than one fucking website. Because this is how you lose. Plain and simple, and I don't want to hear your sob story. If you tell me a sob story, I'm going to laugh in your face and call you a moron. Because while you were buying a $20 UMP, another person, an hour later, bought one for $5 on a different site. This is not financial advice. I am not liable for your shortcomings in terms of IQ and brain power. Moving on to the fun part. There was a lot that went down this week in regards to updates in Counter-Strike. I've made a few videos on it already if you want in-depth looks at specific parts that I mention. However, this part will just give you a brief rundown if you are not privy to everything that happened. The biggest part, and the part that we care about, is the collection rotation that happened within the active drop pool. No cases were touched, but the skin collections were. The Inferno and Nuke collection were taken out, as well as Safehouse and Dust 2. Safehouse and Dust 2 have been mainstays in the active pool for about 12 years at this point, but the real movers were within the Inferno and Nuke collection, as they have more higher tier, more desirable weapons. The MP7 Fade is still continuing to rise, as it is now benefiting from a buff in-game, as well as the discontinuation within the Inferno collection. The MP7 does not have a lot of great skins, therefore the Fade is seeing quite a meteoric rise. It would not surprise me if it continues on this path. One interesting one, probably the only interesting one from the other two, Safehouse and Dust 2, are the P250 Sand Dune. Its float cap of 0.06 to 0.8 makes it a very desirable skin in factory new, and it has previously been a constant source of popularity due to its ugly nature. This has been going back since like 2014, 2015. They finally got their time. I couldn't be more happy for them. Enjoy your gains to the people who have a billion of those fucking things, because they do exist. The AK Safari Mesh is also in there, so could be worth checking out as well. These 4 collections, these are no longer depreciating assets. They are now appreciating, as they are now completely discontinued. Nuke and Inferno are still available in souvenir packages, and I had someone bring this up to me, and I thought it was very, very interesting and a good play. However, I feel as if because it's still in the store for the Budapest sale, people might be buying some with the same reasoning. So maybe don't put all your eggs in that basket. Beyond that, buffs to the MP7, MP5, and PP Bison, which have caused some movements in price throughout all 3 of those guns. Well, let's take a skin that was a decent mover, but wasn't in one of the discontinued collections. The 5.7 Fairy Tale, which is from the Operation Broken Fang case. The Broken Fang case houses the Generation 3 gloves, along with Recoil and Snaky B. Keep that in mind. The 5.7 Fairy Tale is on the surface not very desirable, because its float cap is not the highest in its range, which are the pinks. It does, however, carry a float cap of 0.02 to X. It doesn't matter. 0.02 means that the factory new is a little bit cut off, not as much as whiteout, but cut off nonetheless. This makes it that much rarer to get. It's not desirable in factory new because it's a good trade-up filler. It's desirable in factory new because of probability. Our Chinese friend from Twitch that joined us a couple of weeks ago was back a couple nights ago when we did a Chinese inventory overview. It currently is a very expensive position to enter. So unless you are very highly convicted in this play, I would watch from afar or look into the fillers within the Broken Fang case. And last week, I talked about a pattern that I witnessed in the Operation Wildfire case, which led to adding some skins to my watch list there, that are also prevalent within the Operation Broken Fang case. In the Operation Wildfire case, most of the blues within the case shared a 0 to 1 float cap. The same pattern arises in the Broken Fang case, however with the purples this time. 4 out of 5 purples within the Broken Fang case carry a 0 to 1 float cap. When multiple skins in one rarity share an identical float range, there's no single best float ranged gun for a group to corner, meaning all of them rise as a cohort, which requires a lot more capital and spells very good things for the case's price, as well as everything above it and below it. To influence that tier, it's going to take a lot more capital when a lot of the skins are viable in terms of trade-ups. Undertaking this case is going to be harder than most, but the fact that there is price movement may spell out a very good opportunity here. It also allows for more stable organic appreciation as opposed to the typical pump and dump we are used to seeing in this market. The AWP exoskeleton currently leads the pack as it has the most viability as a play skin, but the dualies, the scout, and the other one I forget will follow in due time. The float range tethers them together. Out of the operation cases, which all seen pretty decent increases this week despite the market cap going down, Wildfire, Riptide, Broken Fang, and Shattered Web, Broken Fang seems to have the best, most safe fundamentals in terms of investing and looking away. The addition of a pump group will just speed up the process. If you want to trade your ugly ass Generation 2 gloves into a nice shiny pumpable Generation 3 one, use skinsmonkey.com. Today's video has been sponsored by the lovely ladies and gentlemen over at skinsmonkey.com. Skinsmonkey is the industry standard trading forum and marketplace for anything and all things Counter-Strike. 24/7 support and an instant trading system so fast, those Bulgarian overpay goblins are sure to go out of business. Now, if that's not enough incentive, throw my code Mike in on the website for $5 off on your first trade. But if you trade up to $100 on the website, they'll double your bonus from 5 to 10. Now, if you don't have any skins and I just gave you some free game on investment advice, you could deposit money and use the website as a marketplace as well. In that case, my code Mike will net you a 5% deposit bonus, bringing it from 30 to 35%. So go get swagged out, courtesy of skinsmonkey.com. Observe the rotation in terms of the glove case. The market cap, once again, is largely influenced by money exiting this case in particular. We're still seeing wildly large exits per week and double-digit decreases in price on a percentage basis. I know we've heard about Winking talk about his plans to repump the gloves within the case, and I do think maybe he spoke about this so that he has exit liquidity instead of an actual plan for him to undertake. And that's because supply is no longer concentrated. The case has a lot of attention surrounding it, and after these large, concentrated exits, the supply is now completely widely distributed across a lot of different people, across a lot of different regions. And a lot of these people undertaking these positions, as they are very expensive, are going to be investors, people with a lot of money in the game. So it's going to be harder to shake them for their supply. And thus, it is going to be harder to reliably control the price of this case and the assets within it. Take the EG Holo as precedent. It tried to pump around a month ago, but it couldn't get it done ultimately. Got to around $30 at a maximum compared to the previous $350. Because when you have a bunch of different people holding at a different stake with no underlying purpose or reason to pump it up, people exit. People exit fast. And even if a group with 5% of the supply decides to do a coordinated exit, that creates FOMO, retail leaves, and the pattern cascades until you're back down to the original $6 price point, which is where we are right now. Now, the price of the glove case skins have gotten to the point where people might consider buying in, actually, realistically. But I don't think ultimately that will be a good play for you in the long run. I don't think China would undertake a project like this while there's so much attention on it and the prices are still relatively inflated to where they were a year ago. There's plenty more where the glove case came from, and the market is down considering where we were 2 weeks ago, which means everything's on sale, baby. So look elsewhere. Now, cases themselves might be a decent opportunity. And that's because a part I left out of last week's update, because it was not part of the update, but rather an unintended bug. For around 2 to 3 hours, buyers could only purchase one key at a time from the case compared to the usual 20. Retail and casual players thought it was intentional, which led to a subsequent dip in prices across all cases. beyond the dip we are already seeing the general state of the market. Some have recovered, some others have not fully. The ones that weren't phased and that are up slightly on the week, well, we can assume those are getting attention for a reason. Winter Offensive is still trending upwards slightly. It does have the lowest supply relative to every other case in the game, which means it should be a pretty safe play in the long term. Spectrum cases are up 2%. This one houses the butterfly knife and the variety of finishes within the Spectrum case, and it hasn't been phased. When external shock hits and panic overtakes the market, the cases with the deepest structured demand, those are the ones that are going to recover the fastest, and those are the ones you should be looking at. Gamma fell around 1 to 1.5%, still outperforming the general state of the market, and the knives within them are also very, very highly desirable, which could make this case, or the skins within the case, a decent opportunity right now. As always, let's go over our calls. First, we will look at the bot. The bot is starting to get comfortable with the market. It's almost there at the end of its data collection phase, which ends at around February 10th, I believe, February 9th. So it's starting to list a lot more in terms of volume of items that could be getting manipulated, which is going to make this tool also more useful for us in the future. Last week, it called the P250 Space Race, and I chose this skin from the list specifically because it does have good fundamentals. Still not a skin I was particularly interested in at the time, however, it was the best of the list. It saw a negligible increase and it is stabilized above where it was 7 days ago, so we can at least be faithful that it's choosing the right collection and choosing skins that have been pumped before in the past, so it has precedent. That's because the Train 2021 collection is ripe for manipulation. A lot of China's favorite skins, the M4 Coalition and the Glock Gamma Doppler, as well as the USP Whiteout, live within this collection. If you bought or already did hold a position in this collection, I still like it in your portfolio. And that's because even if there is no pumps or manipulation, this collection as a whole still has room to run in terms of supply. What's becoming clear right now is that during the data collection phase, the bot is identifying skins that have already seen a decent price movement, so it may not be best to purchase the skin that it's recommending, but purchase the lagging fillers that can trade up to the skin or that the skin trades up to, which may provide more information and context as to why the bot picked this skin in particular. This week, nothing in particular caught my eye, the only one being the Snaky B M4 in living color, which is a covert, and of course trades up to the same gloves that are in the Broken Fang case. So there could be a connection there, so maybe look out for the glove prices and see if there is a coordinated purchasing going on a database. My watchlist picks: the Dual Berettas Cartel and the PP Bison Photic Zone, which were both blues from the Wildfire collection. Both saw the signature Mike Water 9 pump. Stop doing that, but it has stabilized above where it was previously, and that's because they were factually underpriced considering the trade-up value they held. The Bison also got a boost due to the buff it received in the patch note, which is always going to open the door for demand via play skins. This week's watch list is going to have to be the gloves from the Snakebite Broken Fang collection and Recoil Generation 3. These do have 3 cases that house the gloves, which is more than the other previous 2 generations. However, with Recoil being expected to leave in the next update and Broken Fang having such a low supply of cases, it could be something to watch out for. We did see a couple of Chinese accounts hold the US preprint stream, as well as the shitty looking 3D one, whatever the name is, which means prices will stay suppressed, so it'll be harder to find any manipulation outright throughout looking at the charts. The second thing on your watch list, the Armory as an entire whole. Charms, stickers, anything, skins. Watch my video yesterday if you'd like to see more in-depth analysis on the Armory collections. As I said, these ones are pretty much guaranteed to go up if you wait long enough. However, I've already gone through it yesterday, so take a look there. Lastly, the Harlequin and Achroma collection are now in the game in the active drop pool. Harlequin, very colorful. Achroma, not. Some skins are nice, most aren't. It's a weekly drop. What can you do about it? That's to be expected. We will have to take a look at this in specific next week, as there could be opportunities within these collections, as active drop pool seems to be getting more attention from Valve in Counter-Strike 2 in general. That requires its own 10-minute video, so stay tuned for that. Lastly, thank you for 7,000 subscribers. That's a lot of people. Appreciate y'all. Other than that, that's all for today on the news. If you're snowed in, got nothing to do, come watch me play on Twitch. I don't give a shit. I'll play with anyone. If you want to play competitive. If you're good, we'll play Premier. If you suck, I'm not playing Premier with you. I'm 3-0. I can't risk that. Also, thank you for the Twitch support. We got like 120 subscribers. That's also a lot of people. Thank you guys. Tomorrow.